What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Spilling Wine with Kelly is Lit. Today, I have a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Mike Martucci, nice to meet you. Formerly After Party Tucci on Instagram. We had to change that, though.
I think I remember that. Wait, it's
Wait a second. There's no way you saved it for the show that you remember my Instagram handle.
Wait.
Because you followed me as After Party Tucci.
Uh-huh.
There's nothing else after that.
How long ago was that?
When I used to do my podcast, like 2 years ago.
It sounds very familiar.
Yeah, so like 2020. No, it's actually been longer than that. 2022 is when we stopped it. But I got a Kelly is Lit follow request. And I didn't know anyone on the island that did podcasts too. Mm-hmm. But like also I was on my shit. So I was like, anyone else doing a podcast, like, ain't with it. Like, I got the best one. Mm-hmm. Until my co-host quit on me. All of them.
Yeah, I've been there
before. I know, like, me and Kelly have been hanging out. And we have so much in common.
We actually do. It's crazy. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Our co-hosts just like to leave us flat without saying anything.
They like to move away.
Without saying anything.
No, literally.
I mean, that's imagine that, like, having a dream. And, like, you're, like, in bed every night. Thinking about, wow, I'm going to get to this place. Mm-hmm. And I'm really going to put my 100% self into it. And, oh, my God, I'm going to do it with someone I actually like a friend.
And trust.
Mm-hmm. Trust. And all of a sudden, you, like, go in to do it. Obviously not even close to where you want to be.
Right.
Like, you're still working towards it. You just wake up one day and they're done with it. And you're by yourself. It, like, goes back to what everyone says, like, you only have yourself.
Yep.
Not to make this a motivational pod, because we're super unserious, but...
super unserious podcast?
Yeah, but, like, just going off of, because we have that in common, like, it could... That's why dreams die so fast, because you really just have yourself. If you rely on other people, you're never going to get anywhere.
And they're never going to take it as serious as you will.
Yeah. And... I don't know. That's just what I had to deal with the pods. I know you dealt with it. Mm-hmm. But let's not make it sad. Let's talk about some dumb shit.
Were you working in nightlife at the time that you had your podcast?
No. So I did it after.
Okay.
So, I mean, do you want to start with 2020?
Sure.
So
is that where you started everything?
Yeah. That's when, like, all the manifestations came true. Mm-hmm. I think we saved the manifestation stories for a different pod and just get to the stories. Mm-hmm. But when did you turn 21?
I turned 21. Damn, how old am I?
I think you're 24.
I'm 24.
Based on this weekend.
Yeah. So around after COVID, I turned 21.
After COVID, you turned 21. That sucks. Because you didn't get a pre-COVID 21st, like,
no, thank God I wasn't in lockdown during my 21st. I turned 21 when everything started to open back up. Thank God.
There's a whole generation that missed pre-COVID turning 21. Not the point, but anyway, pre-COVID, I was working in construction at the time. I did that for 5 years, and pre-COVID, like December 2019. Had to be the biggest bender of my life. Like a 3-month bender, me and my 2 best friends. And all of a sudden, like, January 2020 comes along. And you're starting to hear things about, like, people getting sick in different parts of the world. I'm working in the city. I'm seeing people with masks. I'm like, what are these people doing?
Yeah.
Like, back on the bus, like, going home. Who know, like, crazy what that turned into.
Yep.
Like, why are people wearing masks? February 2020, it starts to get a little bit more serious. You hear people actually getting sick. Like, you have to stay home. Construction, the last people to stay home. Like, you better get to work. So I'm like, of course, I'm in this industry that I wanted to get out of so bad. And then I was working on a lift one day, and I started looking at, like, because I did electrical, so the electrical pipes, it started, like, moving up and down. I'm like, all right, what is this? So I got off the lift. I'm like, dizzy. Like, can't be COVID. Like, I'm not going to get sick.
Oh,
Like, you never
no.
think you could. My boss, of course, told me, he asked me, can you work overtime tonight? I'm like, dude, I don't feel good. So count me out with everything. And when you say no to overtime in construction, you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
So another part of why I didn't want to stay in there. But I went home dead. In bed, couldn't move. COVID starts. That whole timeline starts.
Mm-hmm. Everything closed down on my birthday.
Horrible.
Or like the day before. Mm-hmm.
Yep. So anyway, obviously we're stuck home. Me and my friend Ryan, we'd go on FaceTime every day, and we'd just sit on FaceTime for hours. And the shit we would say was so funny. I'm like, why don't we just go on Instagram Live?
I did the same thing.
Yo,
that was
we
an
have-
Instagram Live
we
era.
have so much in common, I'm telling you. That's crazy, though.
Yeah, I did the same thing.
And at the time, it was only 2 people you could have on. And it's sad because my third friend wanted to be a part of it, and he didn't. So we went on Instagram Live. We had like 10 viewers. We did the cinnamon challenge.
That's funny.
We worked in like relationship advice. 10 viewers turned to 25. 25 turned to 50. It became a weekly thing. And now we're getting to like March, April, May, and we're about to move into our shore house.
During COVID?
Yeah.
What the hell?
I had the craziest 2020 of any person alive. And I've heard stories about the city, like underground parties, clubs, getting people in, without anyone knowing. Nothing compared to this. Like, we went for a visit to see our house. We were making sure people were still doing their house. Was it even allowed to have a house? And we ended up doing it. People backed out of their house. Worst decision you could ever make. It ended up being like a big college town type of party summer. House parties like crazy. So back to when me and Ryan did the Instagram Lives, we had like so many viewers, so many people into it. We're like, yo, we have something here.
Yeah.
So we made I still have it, like a drive of different girls saying why Mike and Ryan should have a podcast on Barstool.
Oh my God, I love that.
It was so sick, and it's so nostalgic to even go back. I can't watch it now because of what happened, but anyway, so we do that. We're really catching momentum. I have unemployment coming in. My friend Ryan has unemployment coming. We're just putting money into the podcast, buying equipment. I'm learning about it, how to edit, how to record, everything about it. So we move into the shore house. I do all the logo stuff for it. I get, whatever, trademark for the logo, make sure everything's taken care of because I know this is going to hit.
Yeah.
So we're in Belmar. We set up a podcast in our room. I had my roommate, and my other friend was the third roommate. And we started the podcast, Do It For The Story. Such a great name. We thought of it with our friends one night in a basement. Like, what are we going to name the podcast? And then we just be telling stories about, like, hookup stories.
Yeah.
And, like, why we hooked up with a certain
In
girl.
the story times, yeah.
Yeah. And, like, one of my friends was like, I just did it for the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, do it for the story.
Yep.
And me and my friend said, do it for the story. That's the podcast name.
That's literally the niche for this podcast, so that's crazy that you
Doing
said
it
that.
for the story?
Yeah. Story times. Spilling wine.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But we made it a point, like, you did it just for the story.
Right.
Because we weren't really into it.
Right.
Kind of weird to say, but
No facts. We really just do it for the story time. That's it. That's it.
So podcast starts. It's a hit. We're connecting with different groups in Belmar, groups of girls, blah, blah, blah. There's house parties every night in Belmar. COVID doesn't exist. I think our first night drinking, imagine everyone coming out of like quarantine and how excited everyone was. Excited.
Right.
We're playing like this card game that you like put a card on your mouth and you pass the other person with your mouth during COVID is crazy.
That's insane.
First game we played too.
Insane.
So yeah, like huge, like everyone was hooking up with each other. The podcast is going. It's like a sexual. We were like the male version of Call Her Daddy without trying.
Yeah.
And that's when they were breaking up at the time and before everyone had a podcast. So we really had momentum. We're DMing different like C-list celebrities, people like on MTV shows and stuff. And they were down to do it. Like big, shout out to Caitlin Regan. She took her time out for us to be a guest. No guest was like paid. Everyone did it for fun.
Yeah.
And, the downside was, look, you're talking about sex on a camera. And if you care about your reputation, you don't want to go into that field.
Right.
It's tough.
Yep.
And I know, like, I'm not someone that gets, my DMs flooded and stuff. I have content out there that would not,
yeah,
get the attention from someone that wants a serious relationship. But like, I also wanted that. Not everybody wants that. So anyway, show's taking off. Episode 6, episode 7, episode 8. We're going to DJs in Belmar, and yeah, it was like the masks thing. You had to wear a mask stuff. People were saying, "Are you the guys from Do It for the Story? My roommates aren't going to believe this picture."
Aww.
Yeah,
I love that.
We felt like how I guess TikTok influencers feel now. Everything was going our way.
How long were you doing it for?
The summer of 2020, barely.
Like consistently? How often were you posting
June,
and filming?
July, every week, with preview clips. It was just everyone that came to our house. Oh, you the guys do the podcast. You guys do the podcast. And if they didn't know, we were telling them.
Yeah.
So, me and my co-host Ryan, we were all in. And I remember the first thing that really turned me off. Not turn me off, where like it was a hiccup, I would say, in it. We had our friend Marissa Lucchese on. She was on Double Shot of Love at MTV dating show at the time. And we posted the video with her. It was huge. Our first like on TV guest. She texts us maybe 2 days later. Hey, MTV sent an email out that they have to approve any interview we do, whatever, to all the cast members. Yeah. I'm like, oh shit. She goes, can you please just like take it down for now?
The same thing happened to me, which is crazy. Again, I had somebody that was on Love Island Mock. And remember last season how Kayla started going on podcasts and she started like exposing the show kind of without really intentionally exposing the show?
So I don't watch that show, but I know exactly what you're like talking about. I don't need to know Love Island to know that. I know the business, but go ahead.
Yeah. So I had somebody that was on, one of my friends was on the mock trial of Love Island. So he came and did a podcast and we posted like 1 or 2 clips, and the producers of the show reached out to him and was like, if you don't take this down, we're going to sue you for like $500 million or whatever the fuck.
Insane.
It's insane. Literally.
You literally have to have all your dots and cues, whatever the saying is. You need to have everything set up so you don't get screwed off the content. Because your content can be taken away so quick. Yeah. If someone, finds a loophole in whatever legal thing, I don't know. That's a big reason why I stopped at the end of the story. That's why I stopped. But back to summer 2020. So much fun. Nobody's working. Yeah. Everyone's partying. House parties every night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday, whatever. Constant drinking. Probably took a few years off my life. Worth it.
Most definitely.
Like, took a lot of money. Worth it. I recorded so much stuff on my phone I can make a whole documentary about. Again, that comes, like we were just saying, with approval from people. To be
yeah, of course. Yeah.
We did like it wasn't like nude, but we did think of like a PG-13 Girls Gone Wild, like me and my co-host going around our house party and people just doing crazy shit, like a girl twerking with a cup on her and like trying to do flip cup on her ass, like stuff like that. Everyone trying to get on the mic. It was great. Like everyone wanted to be a part.
How many people were in the house?
20 people. It never felt like that though. Like whose parents weren't letting them come down, who needed a break, who heard that there's COVID somewhere, and it never felt like 20 people. And our house is huge. So Marissa episode happens. We have to take it down. Kind of upset about it.
I know you guys were tight.
Yeah. That was like, they got someone on TV on?
Yep.
Oh, that puts you start leveling up. And that was the first sign that something wasn't right. What was after Marissa? I think Caitlin was after Marissa, really helped us bounce back.
Yeah.
And during our Instagram lives, again, I'm not getting into details of what we talked about. It was so like cringe and sexual. Like we'd have girls on the podcast, what does your moan sound like? And they would do it.
I'm dead.
Insane.
That is insane.
To think about now, but at the time it was just so like in the moment, like no one gave a fuck. So anyway, one of my things on Instagram Live was doing sex ed and writing the whole female anatomy on Instagram Live, and it was a hit. Like it was so funny.
And you guys just did it to fuck around, like to be funny.
Yeah. Because again, we literally wore suits during the Instagram Live.
That's funny.
So anyway, my vision to like save this after the Marissa episode coming down and to really spice things up again was to bring that back on a podcast. I got a sex doll, like we were going to do like fun stuff. And then my friend at the time was talking to a girl. Again, it was hookup culture. Everybody was talking to everybody. He ends up talking a little bit serious to a girl and they start dating.
And she didn't care what he was doing?
Oh, she cared. She was one of our fans on Instagram Live.
No.
Yeah. So, and I knew his reputation once he started dating, like, kind of separates himself from stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine, too. He just wrote me a big text one day. He's like, oh, I don't know if I could do that episode, the sex ed episode. It was kind of more your thing anyway. I'm like, oh, no. So, of course, my mind went into, all right, how am I going to do this solo?
Yeah.
Who do I know now that I could get to do another podcast with?
What about your other friend?
It was too late. And I don't think he would have been great on camera, like, talking. So he gets more serious with her. I don't crash out or anything. I just tell him, like, if that's the life you want, like, we have a chance, a small chance, but we have it. Like, this is the window. We're still young. We could do this. Doubles down. Not going to do it. I was like, I'll change the content. Like, I know it's been a little cringy. Let's make it less sexual. Normal podcast. Won't do it.
He wouldn't even do that?
No. That was
no way.
The last episode we ever made. Was the Caitlin one, I think, or maybe one after that.
Did he not enjoy doing the podcast?
He liked the attention we got from it. Who wouldn't?
Yeah.
But then once he didn't need it anymore, it kind of was like on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I was more like, hey, I was doing construction when the summer first started. I was doing classes. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get out of this class. I'm gonna shut my laptop. Like, I'm quitting. Like, are you all in to do this? And he said, yeah. And I shut my laptop. And like, my career I was 5 years into the union.
Yeah.
I was 23, about to make 6 figures. I was about to be like a full-time mechanic, journeyman. And I quit because I just didn't want that life. Like, I wanted something more.
Right.
And you only have one life. Why am I going to live it not the way I want? So I wanted to try, at that moment, I wanted to try everything I could do to get into content, to reality TV, which we'll talk about, that part of it. So he quits. He quits in August. Pod's done. I'm already on to our first guest that we had, Denny Augustine. And I was like, hey, would you want to do this? Ryan quit on me. She's like, absolutely, let's do it. I'm like, all right, we still got motion here.
Yeah.
We're still going. So we come up with the Nightcap podcast. She's totally into it. We're making content. We're making videos.
What was that about, that podcast?
More like what you're doing.
Okay.
Bullshitting, tea, the hot topics, pop culture, whatever. The relationships up, obviously.
Yeah.
She had so many fans from TikTok. All her fans were really for her. And it wasn't with my best friend anymore. So, like, that's why I really wanted to do it. I could have did solo. I could talk on a mic and,
exactly. It's not the same, though.
So, we did it for like a year and a half. I was unemployed. I took all my money out of the construction funds I had just to live off of it. I'm like, I am making it on reality TV. I'm doing a podcast. I was so driven. And I try to live my life like that. I try to do little jobs just to make a little bit. And like during the Denny podcast, I'm like, hey, I'm going to try to get on reality TV. Mm-hmm. You know, because you have a co-host that's also in content with you. If you like branch off, it could be a problem. She was cool with it. Like, I was telling her, oh, I'm going on an interview. And I got an Instagram DM to go on a show. And I got it. But it was a dating show. And I told them I don't want to date.
But you have to just like fake it.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, it's fine. We like your personality, whatever. I'm like, okay. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go all in for this because if it's my one chance to get on, I at least like I'd say I did
It's definitely like your one chance.
Yeah. And you never know what could happen from it.
Exactly.
So I took it. It was a Lifetime show called 5 Guys a Week.
I've never heard of it.
Episode 11. I'm acting like an idiot. I'm full into like Jersey Shore character.
They aired it?
Yeah. So if you go on Lifetime app and you search 5 Guys a Week, episode 11, you'll see me like stupid ass. You gotta bring a gift for the girl. I brought a Casamigos bottle. I said, you guys ready to drink with my chalice in my hand? She was ready to kick me off there. The producers had to come up and say, no, you can't kick him off.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, did you sign contracts?
For what?
Like to be on the show, like you can't talk about whatever. You didn't sign any of those contracts?
Yeah, but like once the show aired, you're free to say anything.
Oh.
I get a kiss with her. I wasn't really into her dating wise.
Right. You were just there to be on TV, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we ended up becoming great friends. And I still to this day talk to her. But we ended up kissing on TV. They were pushing me to make stupid drama, but like...
Yeah, of course.
It just didn't make sense to me what they were pushing. Like with someone in the house. And they ended up...
What did they ask you in the interviews?
What did they ask me?
Yeah. Just like generic dating questions?
Like kind of what you asked me before this. Like what's the craziest story
yeah,
you have, like dating, which is my short stories of the chick I used to date after 2020. By the way, if anyone that grew up with like a strict Italian household, my mom,
oh God,
like she knew I was doing all this.
Yeah.
I lived in her house. I went off, a van picked me up, which I know how that could look, and drove me to the show in Jersey. Why, when I got home from the show, my friends hit me up, hey, your mom's calling me, she doesn't know where you are.
What? Wait, how long were you gone for?
3 days. Doesn't know where you are. Mom, going on a reality TV show, literally the only thing I want to do in life, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And you're freaking out? Well, I just didn't know where you are. Crazy. But anyway, filmed that show. Hyped. I made such a good friend on the show. We had a bromance. I'm like, the content we made is funnier than any reality show. This is going to hit.
Yeah.
So good. I'm like, we did it. Like, I really came out of it like, we did it. It was so funny. It's a Lifetime dating show. So they cut every funny thing out.
Of course.
It was a 30-minute show, so you had to fit all, like, a story. There was no time to develop a character. Right. Obviously, didn't make it past season 1. But anyway, they do it. I go visit that friend in L.A. for his birthday. And then I come back from L.A. By the way, people are going to hate this. I would never go back to L.A.
Why?
Really. Because the traffic is worse than New York. The prices are double.
Oh my God, yeah. It is.
So
it's so expensive.
You really need like money.
And everyone is so cliquey out there.
Yeah.
Very.
But like that's easy to say when you coming from New York and you don't know anyone.
I guess, yeah.
Like what if you lived there? You'd probably be part of the clique.
Yeah.
I don't know about you.
I don't know. I feel like it would be so hard to move there and just like make friends that are doing content too. They're like, oh, who the fuck is this random bitch?
Yeah, why is there more competition? And they'd probably be fake to you and be like,
yes,
hey, like, come do this.
Yeah,
higher
exactly.
pitch the voice, the faker.
Exactly.
But anyway, back to the reality show. Get home, LA. I came home from him like, like it's going to be one episode. Like, I don't know if I did enough. So, I went to bed every night. I'm like, it's still going to happen. Still going to happen. So I get another DM on Instagram.
Oh my God, really? For another show?
Yeah, now mind you, my state of being is unemployed, clinging to whatever's in my bank account.
Right.
My car is about to break down from doing DoorDash.
Right.
Like I was doing DoorDash deliveries just to make ends meet and to go out.
Yeah.
No money going out. Crazy.
Was it the same production team that reached out to you?
No.
Really? So they probably saw you on the show?
No.
Wait, so how did they find you?
Again, I came home from filming.
Yeah.
After Party Tucci at the time, came home from filming and went to LA for a week, got home from LA, DM again. This is like February.
So maybe they just found your Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, February 2021. Call, hey, blah blah blah. Oh, we love you. Let's get you on a Zoom. 3 Zooms. I find out it's 495 Productions, the people that made Jersey Shore.
Oh, okay.
Still make Jersey Shore. Crazy. And there's articles coming out as this is happening.
About the show, right?
About the show that I'm...
About the show
I
coming
didn't know
out?
it was the show I was interviewing for.
Right, you never do. They don't tell you.
No, and it's usually a fake title.
Mm-hmm.
So Jersey Shore 2.0 is casting, is going to start filming in Atlantic City. I'm like, I mean, this is just meant to be at this point. Like, this is my whole personality. This is what my life is leading up to.
Exactly.
In person, with Sally Ann Salzano, the executive producer of Jersey Shore of everything. She's made everything. Super nice. We did the in-person interview. It went okay. I was living in Belmar at the time. I came a little hungover. They told me not to come hungover.
They really told you that?
Yeah.
That's
But you should. Like, you should be in party mode when you're doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Snooki always told it. Like, she showed up to the interviews, like, lit.
Maybe I should start doing that.
What, to the pod?
So, whatever I'm doing, interviews,
Nah, be yourself.
auditions.
Be yourself.
Yeah, I don't even drink anymore, so.
Me neither. Except for last night.
Same.
So, Jersey Shore producer. This is all meant to be. I go back to my shore house after the in-person interview. It's just like, am I dreaming? Type of thing.
Right.
And now a week or two is going. Imagine how paranoid you are that you get a call back
I know.
after giving everything up. This is your one thing you want in life. How paranoid that is. You're waiting for an email. You're refreshing your email.
Yep.
How do I manifest an email?
Yep. Tell me about
Casting
it.
spells.
Tell me about it.
Like, not that I was.
How
doing
long
that.
were you waiting for, like, each update?
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like every morning on the gym, on the incline treadmill, like
You get that email and you're, like, jumping up and down.
I see it already. I see the email coming. Really could break you, like if you don't get it, you know. But anyway, I was on the beach one time in Belmar. Like 2.5, 3 weeks went by. I'm like, still hope. The girls in my house were talking about how their friends got on the New Jersey Shore and they were going to start filming next week.
Oh.
I was like, okay, maybe it'll happen tomorrow. Maybe it'll happen tomorrow still. Doesn't happen. They go for filming. I'm not really grasping that I didn't get it yet. Just seeing what's going on with the show, like when they're filming.
How close was it to filming?
A week before. They picked everyone.
Oh, no.
But I think probably a little bit before that. You have to know.
Exactly. And you have to do, like, medical and all that shit.
So probably a few more weeks. But they go start filming in Atlantic City. Jersey Shore 2.0 is going to be the next big thing. Jersey Shore Family Vacation's on. So an article comes out. The original cast doesn't support Jersey Shore 2.0.
Oh, so it didn't even happen.
They'll never give me the reason. They still haven't to this day of why. But it ended up 1 week into filming getting canceled. And all the cameras were brought out of the house. Imagine setting all that up and then canceling it. So I guess, like, yeah, it's fun to say, and you could say it was a blessing in disguise, but, like, no. Like, there's a different reality where I make it and it's still filming. That's how I looked at it. I got done with that. Again, my car was breaking down because I was doing DoorDash all day. Ran out of money from the union. The girl I was talking to at the time, like, didn't want to date me. Like, you know how you talk to somebody,
Yeah.
so we get into that too, the talking phase.
Oh, God.
But thought that was gonna be my girlfriend. So all these things were happening at the same time, and I was like, it's like, yo, you built this up, everything was going right, and now everything, like, the next thing was like a death in the family. Like, am I gonna get a call?
Yep.
Like, you know, like everything.
Yep.
So what do I do? I ended up getting another call for a show.
Another one?
Yeah.
How do you keep getting these calls?
The next one was because they
do you
knew me.
apply?
No.
So they
were
just reach out to you?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to make it a show about, like, manifesting. We'll do a different one on that. But, like, I literally was getting crazy into it, like, how you get, like, stuff like that and opportunities. But that the next one was a call, like, we love you. Like, it didn't work out with the Jersey Shore one, but we have this Fox show that you could do on an island. I was like, all right, is it like a house show. I don't want to do a dating show. Yes, blah, blah, blah. I was like, cool, I'll do an interview. I did some type of interview for it, and that was it. I didn't get it. But anyway, going into nightlife, we're in summer 2022 at this point. At the end of it, I'm at rock bottom.